Hello and welcome to Paint the Edges with your hosts, James Mack and James Thayer. Hold on, wait. What is that thing? Is that a beer cooler for your energy drink? Is that what that is?
It is a can cooler for my energy drink.
Cool.
Yeah,
I want one. Hold on, wait.
It's called Frost Buddies. Is the company.
Okay, so Frost Buddies. All right, well, I'm gonna hit them up. Here's a question though. Whoa! Bring that in screen.
Yeah.
Bring that in screen. All right, so here's a question though. Is it cold? Explain it to me.
Yeah.
Sell me. Sell me.
It keeps it cold. On the bottom, you probably can't see because it's dark, but it has all the different size of cans and bottles that it fits. And you can have a slip in. So if it's one of the shorter cans, it'll prop it up. So it's like an all-in-one universal can holder. Some might use it for alcoholic beverages. I, by chance, happen to use it to keep my caffeine cold. Because that's the way I like it served.
There's two follow-ups to this. One, I'm buying one as soon as I'm going to probably during podcast, I'm going to see if I can order one off Amazon. Firstly, maybe. Firstly, can you see how it's got the fucking holographic on it? Remember we were speaking about last episode? It's got the holographics. It's got the shimmer on it. So that's the first thing. The actual...
And you can't see because...
It's got texture, hey?
Yeah, well, because it's Alabama.
My man.
It's just a midnight... Alabama has some...
I mean...
We're leaning into it.
So, hold on. Okay, so that's definitely... But is the actual tin thing, I'm assuming this is element... What is it? Tin? Cast iron? Well, cast iron.
Yeah, I assume it's...
it was cast iron.
I assume it is aluminum. But I would have to look deeper into it.
Yeah, so is that thing actually cold? That you're holding?
So this isn't cold, it keeps it cold. Think of it like a Yeti cup.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's what I wanted to work out. Because what I don't like is those things, when they then create moisture, and then it leaves like a ring on my desk or on the fucking, like I've shut out mom. But yeah, coasters like that. Yep. I don't know why she gave me a ceramic one or a stone one at some stage. I got a stone coaster that goes on my desk.
Just one? Or did you get
just one. No, straight up. She literally just gave me one. She was like...
There's usually like a 4-pack, but no, just be like...
She literally gave
minimalist,
me one.
This is all he's going to need. He'll take it. He'll take it where he goes.
That's exactly what happened.
So yeah, no moisture. No moisture. 10 out of 10. Moisture. Fantastic purchase.
Oh yeah, hold on. What Frost Buddy?
Yeah. Made in the U.S.
Damn it. Well, Frost Buddy tumbler. That's what they call it. Nope, not a tumbler. Frost Buddy, world's most versatile and fun drinkware. Yo, they got many.
Yeah, a lot of options. Universal, so it'll hold a 12-ounce can, a 16-ounce can, a 12-ounce bottle, a 12-ounce can.
I found the ones introducing the Forge collection. That's the one that you have. I think. No.
Sure.
Maybe. Universal Buddy. I'm going to go with that. That's going to be the one.
That's the one. That's the one.
Okay, the Universal Buddy. Now we've got burnt titanium. Yo, there's a carbon fiber one. Yo, that is sick. Rust metal. I like that. That's definitely up my alley. I wonder if you can you customize these? I'm assuming you can, consider, but Alabama also obviously would have gone with like a like that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, like there's a ton of the college team ones, but I'm sure you can customize some. There's like different prints or whatever. But anybody listening,
dude, there are tons. Yeah. All right, well, this is happening. I'm going to get a few.
I will say the only thing to keep in mind if you do incorporate it, no moisture, nothing like that, no concerns, like it fits over the top, nice, good seal, no issues there. The only thing is learning how to pace your drink if you enjoy sipping on the flavor. Since it's heavier, it offsets it. Well, not even hitting the teeth, but just being able to estimate how much you have left. So like once you get towards the bottom of the can, you're looking for a nice, refreshing swig
Yeah.
of it, and it might only be half a drink because you've drank it all, but it still has a little bit more weight to it.
So
That's my only
basically,
complaint.
I can I can drink more monsters. Is kind of what you're saying.
Yeah, you can.
That's what I'm
If
hearing.
anything, you can trick yourself into drinking them faster.
Hold on, there's a Universal XL. Now hold on, this looks like it's got like a screw cap thing on here. Okay, so this one does wiggle-free silicone lid, 12 to 24 ounce cans. Wow, that's big. Yo, I love how they're using Ghost in this as well. Frost Buddy. It also does heat. Look at that. Fucking okay. One can cooler, 3 ways to enjoy. Can cooler lid, coffee lid, electric blender.
I have no idea about that. I haven't. You've dove more into this website than I have.
Holy shit. All right, so this one alone fits a 12 ounce can, slim cans, 24 ounce cans, 16, 12 ounce bottle. So like a ultra light. I don't know what that is. It's a beer. Okay, it's a beer.
It's a
Clearly.
beer. Yeah.
A 20 ounce bottle of Coke, stubby bottles, 20 ounce bottles of Gatorade, and a 12 ounce bottle of something light. I love how they're trying to appeal to the lights. Like they've got a Bang on you. Is Bang still around?
Yes, it's still around. So after, I think we actually talked about it a while ago because after they got
Super
sued,
creatine.
yeah, after they got sued by Monster absorbed them.
One way to just chop your competition down. And like, yo, we're gonna
just
sue you.
buy up their distribution.
Yeah, literally. It's like the money we get from you, we're gonna buy you with it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a double. Yo, dude,
Just
this
a
is
fire sale.
Okay, hold on. My only concern is speed of how long this is gonna take. Let me see if I can find it on Amazon.
Yeah, that I can't help you with, but hopefully there's some. You probably won't have as many options, but if you're not going for anything crazy, you should be able to find it on.
Yep, no, found it.
There you
Found
go.
it. Frost Buddy. Oh, but this is there's
See, you're
here we
not.
go.
Yep, you're not going to get as cool.
What are we? What month are we in right now?
We're at the very end of April.
All right, so this one I can get the fastest on the 7th. Nope, hold on. Fastest 7th of May, possibly 13th of May. 7th of May.
Okay, so two weeks.
It's 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks. It's decent, and this is the XL.
Yeah.
Well,
are you drinking XL cans?
I don't know what an XL can is.
I'd imagine like 24 ounces.
What's 22? I don't use proper metrics, please.
Yeah. These are hey, American-made company. This is what is coming in. Okay, so regular size can of Monster is going to be a 16 ounce.
Okay, then I think
so. Think of like
600
the swivel
mils.
or the spin tops. Those
Yes.
are going to be like the 24 ounce cans.
Okay, cool. All right. But but these are universal, so I can do whatever I need with this. All right, I'm just gonna buy one, and then buy now. Buy now and just get it shipped here, and then we'll. Do you know what's gonna be so nice? Is this is literally going. Fuck yeah! I'm paying to get it a week earlier. I'm definitely paying $10 extra. Convenience. Like that's like teasing me. It's like putting it in front of me and being like, oh. You can only get it in a week later if it's free, or pay $10 for a week.
Before you order, though. Because I don't have the XL. Oh, it's already ordered. That's fine. I don't have the XL. I was just going to say, with the regular, you can get it's a can, it's an insert. So if you do like the 12 ounce cans of anything, you put the insert and it still fits it. It just props it up. So the XL, I just don't know if you need that for the 16 ounce cans. But if it fits 16 ounce cans.
Did it come with it or not?
Mine did, but it was a sale in store.
Uh-oh. Hold on. What do you mean in store? Does this come with it now?
They're sold at a bunch of the shops here in town.
you know what I should have done? I should just send you money and get you to ship me one. That'll be the fastest way. Actually, that's the exact. That's the way we're gonna do this. No, you're gonna overnight this shit, and I'm gonna make sure that I can get one in by the next podcast. That's exactly what's happening. You're gonna get a PayPal. Just make Thayer. Just by the way,
to buy this. But then it's going to have to come here, going to have to get delivered, then have to ship out.
No. You got to go into the store. Where did you get it?
Oh, you want a Bama one? I can get you a Bama one. Okay.
I'll take a Bama one. Yo, we spoke about this last time. It's like we're the same human. We literally sent each other the same fucking reel today. Like I sent him the reel, like I went into our chats and he had just sent it to me as well. I was like, oh. Same person, same fucking thing going on.
We saw it, thought the exact same thing.
Same thing, yeah. And literally the same comments came out. All right, cool. Well, I just got a cool Frostbuddy thing. It'd be really cool if we could I don't want to say label them, brand them. It's the word I'm looking for. Definitely what we want. Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, long term, plain with, and then look into some wraps.
What do you mean wraps?
Like either the water-based wraps, so like they'll do on tumblers or like Yetis. Have you ever seen it where they take like a water Probably screen not. And they dip them?
I've seen it on guns. Yes, I have. Yes. When you wrap a gun,
anything metal you can do that on. So a lot of people will do that. Will dip tumblers or things like that to customize it, and you can screen print it out. So you can do either like paints over a water, or it's a solution, or you can get a print that sets on top of it, and you can hydrate dip it.
Yeah. Dude, imagine the 3-foot logo on that. That would look sick.
Expansion on the brain.
Okay. So many things going on here. All right. You know what the hilarious thing is? I was coming into this podcast hot, straight up off the bat. Like we literally signed in, and I was like, I'm pushing record, not because I'm trying to rush you and get away from you, but because my brain is in thought mode. And I was literally going to say, this is going to be the fastest we've ever dived into a topic, and the least amount of time we've ever spent fucking around in pre-production of like, hey, what are we going to do? And we've mucked around for the last 12 minutes of everyone listening here talking about a cooler. That's
my favorite thing, though, if you are a longtime listener of this podcast and you get any of the products that we talk about for completely free, any energy drinks, any tumblers, whatever else the hell we talk about, please start tagging us. I just want to know
funny
that there's some type of influence that people are like, oh shit. Because here's the thing I never realized. I forget that this is for alcohol. Just in my brain, my automatic go-to is like, oh, that's fantastic for an energy drink. Like, I'll take it to work and everything like that. I'll walk around in public with it. I forget that people use this for alcohol.
You're gonna get like the students at the rec center like looking at him like, yo, like he good? Is he drinking on campus? And they're like, yeah, it's his Monster. What else would it be? Like, yeah, the thing we use it for.
Literally, I'll walk around the weight room with it, just throwing.
I mean, that's like shout out Ricky, one of my clients, Ricky Calder, and he's not prescriptive stuff. He walks around as he's got a CPAP. I'm not airing dirty laundry anyway. He's got a CPAP. He's a big boy. And we have to use like distilled or demineralized water in it. So it comes in like a liter jug. He walks around with the demineralized water bottle. That's what he uses as his bottle. And the amount of looks he's had of like people just like, yo, are you drinking demineralized water? And he's like, nah, I'm just using the container. It's like, it's just easy to keep a liter. And I was like, go for it. Do whatever you want. Like but the looks when you're around him, it's fucking hilarious.
Because I really hope, Ricky, if you hear this one, you're drinking it like propping it over the wrist like old moonshine, and just
like old school.
Yeah,
turning on old school on it. Yeah, that one. Fuck, where were we going? Because there's actually there's no way in any shape or form to move into the topic at hand in terms of this. But topic at hand. Topic at hand. Going to call it broad-based education. Let's start with that, which doesn't sound appealing in any shape or form. But I promise you that this will land in some way, hopefully. Look, we at Prescript, and I'm throwing you under the bus here, kind of, but I'm pretty sure you're confident in the statement I'm going to make. We at Prescript, kind of like one of our catchphrases, like one of the mottos, and primarily from Jordan, let's be 100% honest, was and is to ask better questions. Like, that's the goal. Like, that is, I mean, other than obviously to teach you how the body works and applied biomechanics, functional anatomy, and, rib cage, nervous system, like, if you had to subcategorize it and bring it down. But the general theme at the end of the day, we kind of, we touched on this last episode when I was talking about whys. Yes, that was last episode. Was it the one before? Whatever. At the end of the day, the goal is to ask better questions, or to start, whether it's internally or externally, really looking at a problem and solving the problem by understanding how to ask better questions or get more in depth in the question that you're asking. That is the goal. Why? Because by doing that, you start to break down the problem. You actually solve the problem by looking for the why. Sounds really stupid sometimes if you look at it, but that is inherently what problem solving is when you can get to the quote-unquote root cause, or along your journey of looking for the root cause, you tend to find the answer that you're looking for, and or kind of confirming a hypothesis or confirming some form of initial thought process of what you were originally thinking. As you develop, as you get more experience in this, like, you can see the patterns, you can have the understanding. Like, we know certain shapes of sports are going to present with very common based injuries, deficiencies, issues that will arise. That doesn't necessarily make what we're doing like a shotgun approach, but and we got to be careful with this, but it does create what I guess I would call like a bit of a bias structure. But and I'm confident in this, is I can have a bit of a biased lens of an individual in a certain sport, but then if said injury, said issue, said problem isn't being fixed or isn't kind of presenting in the same way as I originally thought, I can quite confidently ask why and go down the rabbit hole and work out, one, why is this not the usual? And two, what is actually going on to give us the answer? The why is important, and I'm confident that you would kind of agree or say the same.
Yeah, I'd 100% agree. And the why is important in asking better questions. Why we kind of start there is the whole intention of it is to expedite the process, to get to an answer, to find the solution quicker. And if you're doing that through a better question, and in that question, what we should be looking for is, does this change our approach? Does, based on the answer that we're asking, does it result in us changing or doing something different or thinking about something different? And that's really an aspect of it too, especially in the L1 discussion, where some of this generated from, or really through Prescript started creating some of that exposure, is kind of the intake process of, if you're asking questions that don't change your approach, why are we asking it? Because it's just slowing us down. It's not giving us any answers to go forward, to enact action on or apply. It's just checking a box. And we're really not trying to check a box. We're trying to look at, is the presentation, and in that presentation, the application, what we expect, or is it different? Why might there be a difference in that? Might be something that we want to ask about, and that might have an influence on how we address that. And that's really the important aspect of it, is getting a solution quicker, and the based on what the answer of the question is, that should have a dictation to, we need to act upon this, or it's confirming the route that we want to go. It shouldn't just be a throwaway question for question's sake.
Yeah, it's the again, if we're going to ask why, let's make sure that if We ask why we're going to do something with that information. There's no point in me asking if someone's got a sore calf, for example. There's no point in me asking, like, yeah, do you see the color blue? Like that, and that is
Yeah.
as arbitrary as it is, but that is kind of what happens. Whether it's an intake form, whether it's just kind of general conversations, like, yo, we're going to ask the question. Let's make sure that we're asking the questions that are going to matter. It's like, don't waste people's time. You mentioned like the goal of this is to speed up the problem solving process, and it is. But by doing that, make sure we're asking better questions to actually get to the specifics of what we're attempting to challenge or change or make an adaptation with. There is no point in me asking a question if the answer isn't going to deviate my current trajectory of what I'm going to do. And that really, really does matter when we're going through these. And I don't know if it's just because I'm I don't want to say exposed to more input of it currently. I have a lot more coaches that I'm coaching. I have a lot more of that element behind it. But there's a lot of this like spoon fed. Would we go with that? Like that was like my university or my school and high school teachers like really tried to drum into us when we were growing up. It's like, yo, I'm not spoon feeding you the answer, and I'd be like, just give me the fucking answer. Like, I don't like. Why are we going down this rabbit hole? Why are we having to like show our work? I was really bad at certain elements of mathematics and I've spoken about that at nauseum. But at certain elements in school, because I could find the answer, because in my head I was going through and I would problem solve and I'd be kind of at the answer before I required to, but I wouldn't get the full mark. Like the mark would be out of 10 and the answer would be 2, but the 8 of the 10 marks was actually in about kind of showing how you got your work and the thought process of getting there. Like you could have a different thought process and get to the same answer, but ultimately at the end of the day, if you can't show your work, you can't do anything with it. And I think showing the work, in my opinion, is the asking better questions to then get to the further discussions of what we're doing. And in my role, like I'm saying, I'm coaching a lot more coaches where they just want the answer, and it's like, hold on, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to just give you what you want, because that doesn't make you better. That honestly doesn't make you better in any shape or form.
Yeah, and they don't understand the context. And I think this is really the heart and core of today's discussion is being a mentor, us working in the education sector of fitness through Prescript and both through our own avenues. Like you mentor a ton of coaches. Both of us get a lot of questions through online mediums. Working in a university, we have a whole department dedicated to young trainers, instructors that we're working on developing. And part of that process is um, it's getting them to understand a question, the context, and being able to come to the answer from it, not just having the answer. And I think with Prescript, that's something that we try to take from lecture and encourage one application over the week into the next lecture and coming to the labs. So then that application, you can start asking better questions off of it because you've seen an application, either your limitation in understanding how to execute it or how to effectively cue or constrain somebody into the position that you're trying to get them to execute in. And I think for the discussion, it's an interesting one of from the education side, whenever we're looking at these different avenues of mentoring somebody and trying to encourage development through education, it's how do we facilitate that in not this spoon fed manner of not just giving the answer, but really prompting them to think through it and come with questions that they find along the way in that thought process. And more importantly, if you're somebody that is either a mentee or you mentor people, it's how do you keep that separation as a mentorship relationship, helping prompt that education, that thought process, with not just completely taking over somebody's clients. I think this would be, something for you that's very relatable with coaches is you'll have a coach with a client come in and kind of ask you, okay, I should do this, or what should I do here? And it's the separation of like, I'm trying to mentor you to think through and find the problem or find the answer, the solution yourself, and not just rely on me telling you to do this thing and then you go do it with your client, where we're losing this separation of you need to coach your client, not have your mentor coaching your client. And I think we see that a lot too, where you see in some of these fields disciples come across of like, well, they're not thinking for themselves. This is the, this they mentor or they get coached by this person, and whatever programs they're running is just an extension of that individual, that they haven't necessarily learned why these things are happening. They don't necessarily have the context. And we see it even further down through the online social media space of the red X and the green check, or like this exercise. It's like, oh, this exercise fixes it, without that context and understanding of what is the actual quality that we're trying to achieve through that exercise or that movement, to be able to identify, yes, this is working and improving what we need it to, or no, this isn't. It's just resulting in the exact same compensation pattern that we're trying to get out of. And maybe this exercise isn't the correct one.
Yeah, it's funny how and maybe correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe it's just who you see in front of you most of the time. But if you went down the exercise route, I want to go down like not just exercise, but I think nutrition, decision making, even just like conversationally in terms of what kind of comes up from coach to client in terms of these things. It's always fascinating to me to watch a coach. I don't want to say develop their skill, but evolve. Okay, and as they kind of evolve in terms of all of these things, the exercise 100%. I agree with you in all your elements of what you're saying, but and from the exercise side, maybe what I see very prevalent in the beginning, and unfortunately still further up, is even if it's just the pushback, and I said that in inverted commas, of like if you asked a coach like, hey, like why did you put that in? And then like if there is the thought process or the understanding of why they have said movement in the block, in the program, in the specific position where they are, and I've said this multiple times, I never am going to look at them and be like, yeah, that's wrong. Right? What I'm looking for, if I push back on something where I ask a question, is all I want to see is, was there thought put behind it? Was there the question of, why am I adding this exercise in? Or it's like, oh, I just threw an exercise in.
Yeah.
It's like that is like, you're 100% right in like the further development of it. But I see it like even before that, like happen of, if you can explain to me or just give me a rationale, like why did you use a 45-degree hip extension versus a hip thrust? So why is it there? Or where is it in its program? Like you've put, like, no right or wrong. Why have you got it there? And if there's this immediate like ability to just discuss, go through it, run through pros, cons, primary, secondary, tertiary benefits of what this exercise is doing, why I've put it in the program where it is, it's like, yo, cool. Fucking A. Like you gold star perfectly in terms of this, because there's been a further thought or further discussion of why the exercise is there for its intended purpose. It's not even just like positional dependency. It's not even just, and like you said, those are extremely important, and I think they are the most important when it comes down to it. But how many of our coaches, and I say this very respectfully, if you were to question them on the program, they would either trip up or they wouldn't necessarily, they'd be like, oh, there'd be a bit of a, not a stutter. I don't want to say a stutter in terms of that, but there's this not a confidence in like, well, this is why I have it here. And whether it's right or wrong, again, not up to me. It's just the fact that there was a thought in their head of asking, hey, why? Why in inverted commas? Not directly why in terms of, but if does this person need more, a rib cage over pelvis position? Oh, okay, yes. So then let me put the 45-degree hip extension in instead of the hip thrust, because that's going to pull them naturally into that position. It's like, perfect, tick. There's your answer. There's your ability to critically think, because that's essentially what happens when we ask why. We start critically thinking further.
Yeah, and I definitely say the conversation comes about as a reflection from the difference in trainers and coaches that we interact with on a daily basis. That a lot of times I'm at that exercise as a starting point to open up a broader sense, where what I would imagine a lot of the coaches that you're talking with, that you're getting questions from, or maybe even mentoring, you are diving into these larger, more global things that we're having to speak to. And I'm working to develop a lot of the staff, the students that I work with, to get to a point that we can start having those large scale conversations. Because 100%, if I ask all of my staff at this point, and again, I work at a university, the whole point is development, it's growth,
education,
it's education. But if I ask them about the program, there is going to be that stumble, because we're in that process of thinking more globally, of thinking long term of how we can approach it. Again, we're in a little bit unique situation where there's literally been clients there for 15 years consistently. So a very unique situation. And so we have an opportunity that we can really start taking it to a place that some other places are limited in their ability to do that. But oftentimes starting with that exercise, it's because I'm trying to find a point that they understand and meet them where 100%. They are. This is how I understand the exercise, and that's how we can begin to develop and create larger conversations of how this decision influences the next thing, and how that influences the next thing. And now we can start bridging out to the program as a whole. We can start bridging out to the week. Now we can start talking about the program. So oftentimes I would say we're meeting at an earlier point than some of the coaches that you're working with that, are full-time in the industry, as an aspect, again, kind of where we're coming in from, like top to bottom, bottom to top. And I find that interesting because, again, ultimately, the more and more conversations we have, I think we try to find, how is this simplified? And one of the biggest aspects is, whenever you're going through and auditing a workout and that going into a program, it should revert back to a couple of answers. Like, start with the starting point of why this exercise, why this exercise, why this exercise. Ultimately, we should start circling back of, like, why are we doing this in the program? Here's 3 things I'm trying to establish. Here's how I'm establishing it through the diversity of these exercises. But, like, very, very quickly, it blows up in this, like, big bang effect. But then you start seeing the universe as a whole, and it gets very, very compressed of, oh, we're solving for 3 problems.
And I'm so glad you said that, because, and it's, sorry, the continuation of that is, when I'm having this conversation, when it's like the mentoring side, it's the, and I'm not doing this to trip them up in a bad way, but as I'm saying, it's like we go through the exercise, like, why we're picking this. And so many times I see them look for a new answer.
Mm-hmm.
And like exactly what you said. It's like, yes. And I'm not tricking them, but at the same time, the whole point is, like, I'm not looking for a new answer. Yeah, I'm looking for you to go back to the 3. Yeah, you gave me the answer already. It's like, it's the same answer. A lot of the time, it's the same, or it's the same quality that we are kind of working for, or the same. If it's like, a 45-degree hip extension and neutral lat pull down, making sure that we stay in a stacked position. It's like, okay, why? Oh, well, it's lats, and no, I don't really give a fuck. Do you know what I care about? The answer is the same answer. It's like, well, they can't keep ribcage pelvic congruency, so this is my way to make sure that I put them in two positions, one that pulls them into it and one in our body that challenges them to keep it. It's the same answer. It's the exact same answer. It's just for some reason there's this thought process of like, I'm questioning you, so you have to give me this extravagant answer. It's like, nope, it's not. It's three things most of the time.
There's definitely a psychology to it of like self-doubt, of trying to find an answer that it's too simple, that it needs to be something else. It reminds me of like the Scantron tests in school where you have to like fill in the dot. If you get too many A's in a row, you're like, it can't be 4 in a row. It has to be one of these other. It's just like that. Like you start questioning and doubting yourself, where really that's an aspect of coaching, is that development of confidence in why I'm doing something. And where you can really, really develop that confidence is, hey, whenever I just keep using the same answer, it's solving the same problem. Like all across this, hey, I keep solving this problem. That's why I chose this. Perfect. That's what I want. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah, literally in the way, but it's the like looking for complexity in a position that doesn't need complexity. I'm not looking for 300 different things to be solved in one program. It's usually one thing, maybe 2 or 3, right? And it can be drawn out a little bit more, and like we can go from one being maybe positional dependency. What energy system do we need to go into? This needs to adapt in regards to what we're in a nutritional profile, and that's a lot more on an advanced level. But that's like, if you can't get the base, this is the theme of 2026 for us, like foundations, apparently. Like, but if you can't get that base foundational level done, it's like then you're kind of screwed. You're gonna have issues in terms of this, and it's and again, I don't know if it's as of late in the last kind of 2 weeks or so with me, but I've had a lot of coaches like not even tell me what they're going to do. They ask me for the answer, and I'm like, nah. It's like, this is what you're going to do. You're going to tell me. You're going to look at the data. You're going to look at the position of the people, and a lot of this has got to do because I have a lot of competitors right now and other coaches with competitors. I've got like 10 coaches that I'm coaching that have competitors, which is a fucking nightmare, to be honest, because it feels like I have 20 people that I'm looking after, because I do. But this is the stuff you're going to go and look at, and then you make the decision and you tell me. That's it. And like, I've seen a couple of them be like, like, what do you mean? I was like, it's your athlete. It's your athlete. You take on the responsibility. You take on, and that is. And look, I'm not saying this in a very beginning stage of this. Is kind of, as the developmental process goes on, and as I kind of see them start making their own decisions and see like the thought process and the discussions that we have on the weekly basis and blah, 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 all these things come up. It's like, well, now it's like little bird needs to fly. It's like, get out the fucking nest. It's like, yeah, I'm going to give you a bit of a kick maybe, but this is part of it. So it's interesting. It's been a very interesting experience for me to see how some have completely surprised me. Like very, very much kind of surprised me in the element of like, they'd be like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Boom, 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 boom. I'm like, yep, sick. Go for fucking awesome. Like, nailed. Right. And then like the others, there's this like looking for the answer. It's like, okay, so what do I do now? It's like, what do you mean? What do you do now? What is the thing you have been doing for the last 2-3 years? It's like, coach. Yeah. I'm here to support you. I'm here to kind of, give you encouragement. And if you don't know where to go, I'm going to help guide you there, but I'm not going to give you the answer. That's not my fucking job in any shape or form. My job is to, and we do this in Prescript, and we do this and I think we do this more so just naturally. I will never, I won't say never, but I'm very, very, very far between from giving someone an answer, because what's the point? All that I see that doing is it's just teaching someone to be reliant on someone else. Like, you're not using your own brain. You're not using your own thought process. You're not making your own decisions. You're just regurgitating instead of learning the process in these things.
Well, and I think that's reflective of the way both of us teach and educate is through that critical thought process and creating a learning experience to act as a guide, not to be the all-knowing source of like, oh, you don't know shit, come to me, and create that dependency. To your point, like the whole goal is let me help you work through this and like go do the shit.
Go
Like
do the shit.
come
Yeah.
back if you need me, but you're not going to hurt my feelings if you go out and you're, flying about and succeeding. Like that's the whole point to like, hey, go on, go do your thing.
Well, that's the point of mentorship, in my opinion. It's not to be reliant on me for the rest of your life. It's the kind of like, it's the coach side of it. It's like I don't want you to not learn. The goal is for you to be self-dependent in many ways, but I do have a larger amount of knowledge than you do, and I'm not saying that in a bad way or like a flex way. It's like I've been in this industry for a very long time. I've done a shit ton of studying. I've done a whole bunch of human studies, for lack of a better word. Like I work with a lot of coaches and clients, and it's like, and I've seen the movies, and there is an element of like paying for experience where I want these coaches to speed up their results and speed up their decision making, but that doesn't happen by me giving them an answer. Yes, you can pay for knowledge, and I mean that in terms of speeding up in the mistakes we make and the issues that we've kind of dealt with and faced, but we have to be very good at delivering our ability to like toggle this like seesaw effect of like giving someone exposure to higher level thinking, but making sure that the higher level thinking is not just my answer. It's like, hey, this is it, but come with me, right? That's the expediting the process, because unfortunately, as per fucking in a armor, it's like time is your best friend and your worst enemy, right? It's your best friend because it is the most appropriate way to learn things. Like good old time. Father Time is going to just knock you down and really teach you life lessons. But it is also your worst enemy because, look, at the end of the day, it feels like you're not learning a lot of times, or you're not getting to the next step. So if I can kind of, and we can expedite that process where you can take the knowledge, implement it with regards to the time, that's going to be a much further ability for you to actually learn and implement and to level yourself up in the long run. That's the goal.
Yeah, and I think part of it has to be a realization of the day and time in which we're currently living and what influence that has on the coaches of today, but also just how people have learned, where it is very much spoon fed, or with Google, I mean, you can say AI, but
anything.
Google's been there. It's not like Google hasn't been a thing for decades now, but where it's at the, finger clicks to get an answer, information's the most readily available that it's ever been, and it's going to keep evolving and just being ever present. It's the thing though, is like getting the answer is just because you have an answer doesn't mean that you understand it, how to implement it. And that's part of the mentorship process is in to learn how to ask better questions is you need to be asked questions that prompt you to think about how to answer it. If it's something that's just very black and white or in a traditional setting, a lot of times it's like, hey, there's one answer, where really it should be a discussion. Hey, we could go several routes on this. What influences our choices to do this opposed to this, or choose this instead of this, based on our prior history, based on the progress we've seen, based on the individual? All these things should be contributing factors in our critical thought process of the decision going forward. Whereas if you're just the authority that here's the answer, that's not learning. Again, that's memorizing. That might be able to regurgitate, but you don't really understand the tools that you're using. You're not a master craftsman. You just understand how to do the one thing because that's the only thing you've ever understood. And as a mentor, the question to get somebody to prompt someone to ask better questions, you need to ask them questions that make them think and have to process through that to try to help them find the solution. That's what the mentor should be doing, is with your experience, with your knowledge, it's taking that and not just giving out answers for the sake of giving out answers. It's expediting in a way that you're helping them to arrive to decisions by asking those questions to help prompt, help guide, to navigate. And if they start veering off in the wrong direction, that's where the experience can come in of like, okay, here's something maybe you weren't considering that might pull you back into the path of greater consideration. For for the like it this very very quickly prompted me back to a lot of the literature classes I had, and all is for this reason. Like literature classes, movie reviews, it's because what did you take away from this? Being able to explain, oh, the snow. I thought of this as a new beginning. It's covering it in white. The color represented this. I'm having to think through of what is my interpretation of this information that creates an influence, that creates an experience or a feeling that might make my decision, how I look at it or how I perceive this information, influenced in one way or another. And oftentimes I don't know if we get that as much of a setting where we're being asked a question to think through, to try to analyze and um try to expand upon that. There was this super random, but again, where my head went in that analytical approach. There was a song I heard the other day. It was "Me and the Devil" is the
Mm.
song name. It's like a cover of a cover, like an old bluesy song was the original version of it. But basically, it's um, like the opening line is like, early one morning there was a knock at my door and the devil was there. And so it's one, you could take the song as literal, that the devil is in front of you and you go with him. On deeper reflection and understanding the lyrics and interpretation, you could see that it's an acceptance of a human being, understanding that they have great evil in them, and it's a reflective piece like that. That's the deeper level of thinking. Just like exercise, I can see this exercise for what it is in front of me, and hey, that's the devil at my door. Upon deeper reflection through questions of what could this mean? What could we do with this? How could we utilize this? We might start to question our thought process of, what is a truer answer or what is a more in-depth answer to give us more of a perspective to how this might be influenced, how we understand it, how we feel about a thing, and how we can utilize it. I know I kind of went all over the place, but instantly that thought process went back, or took me back, thinking about, it was situations like that where it was really kind of ambiguous of what this could mean. I could take it as the
At
literal
face
fact that
value,
they
or
were telling
yeah,
me, or I could think deeper of what are the influences of the time that the author, that the poet, that the director is trying to show me, and what interpretation can I take from that? And similar to exercise.
it's it's a good analogy in terms of that, because it's exactly what it needs to look at. It's like you have you can have surface level conversations and you can have very in depth understanding, and you'll get people to be like, it's not that serious or it's not that deep, and it's like, yeah, cool, that's not the person that I'm ever going to have a conversation with,
Yeah,
because
then you're
it is more complex than that.
yeah, and that's really the prompt, is trying to get somebody to think in a complex way that then they can distill it down and simplify it to make it very digestible for their thought process, and more importantly for the execution of the client. That whenever whenever you can do that, you're going to be a great coach, because you can ask these questions, you can understand it. And if the mentality is just, it's not that complicated, it's just exercise, that's fine, but you're only ever going to understand it from a surface level. And yes, absolutely, you might get results, but there's going to be limitations to how long standing those are, to how diverse your thought process and growth are going to be. I would argue there's probably going to be quite a bit of stagnation to a point that, you know, us in the industry, we can be like, yeah, you've been doing the same thing for 30 years. And it's not because like it's a principal approach. It's because you've only understood the same thing the same way for 30 years.
Yeah, it's the lack of further development that then kind of puts the blinders on. Or the blinders are on, and that kind of creates the further development or the lack thereof in terms of that's actually a better way to look at it. Yeah, education. As I said in the very beginning, it's a very broad term, but very complex. To bring it back to the exact subject of very complex subjects, but if done correctly, very simplistic in nature and in use. On that note, paint the edges. We will chat to you guys next week.